Hello, everyone. Andal Star Saber here again. Now I'm going to do another roster review. This time we're going to go and look at Ishmael Baalzamon. Forgive me if I just butchered that. It doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, however it's pronounced, but Ishmael is a member of our Dark Phoenix Rising Guild and has volunteered to have set up for a roster review. I'm going to go ahead and take a look here, see what we can do for Ishmael here. So first of all, looking at the two teams, you got the full Jedi Knight Revan squad for his arena team. Managed to get 124 so far. I don't know if that's high end or low end for you, but that's respectable. And you have a Tarkin with a lot of Darksiders for your ship team, and you're currently sitting at 171. So we're going to go ahead and look in your inventory a little bit. So now, looking at your inventory, pretty similar categories. Some of our more recent Dark Phoenix Rising volunteers. Pretty new player, clearly. 1.3 galactic power. Haven't been playing the game very long. But you've also put in a lot of time and effort into building up your meta teams. So good on you for there. You got a couple of teams here at least that are going to carry you quite a ways in the long run. Just be careful again. I mentioned this yesterday in the previous video, but be very careful with the meta chasing, especially if you're spending your personal out of your personal budget, not just your in-game budget, to get these characters where you need to be. These characters are great now. They'll be good for a long time, but they're not going to be at the top forever. And so 6 months from now, a year from now, you're going to see whole new lineups that take the lead. You'll have to decide for yourself if it's really worth reallocating a lot of those assets into those other teams the same way you did here, or if you want to keep working on your roster as a whole. I would recommend a little bit of both on some regards. There's a lot more to this game than arena metas, a lot more things you can improve upon than just that one aspect of the game. So just keep that in consideration. I'm not telling you you're doing anything wrong by getting what you have. I just want you to keep that in mind for the future because, as I've mentioned a lot of times in a lot of these roster review videos, Rome wasn't built in a day. It takes a long time to build a roster that really gets you a lot of the things you need most of the time, which is kind of where mine typically falls right now with a couple exceptions, and that's why you don't see a lot of Grand Arena videos from me. But as a whole, I think you're on the right track, most definitely here. I can see you've had a lot of growth in a lot of areas. You have Hermit Yoda, so clearly you've been allocating your assets there as well, at 7-star no less. So that's pretty impressive. That's not easy necessarily for new players to do. So, looking at your team in general here, we have you have your Darth Revan, you have your Jedi Knight Revan. It's good that you're making your Jedi Knight Revan work for you. A lot of people get these Darth Revans on their team and then they realize, okay, now I have to build it out and support it with something. Well, that may not be easy to do. I mean, you got your HK-47, you got your Bastila Fallen coming up here, so looks like you're close. But keep in mind, sometimes taking a meta on offense against a mirror match can actually be harder than a counter meta tends to be. That's something I keep trying to remind people here. It's good to have what has staying power at the top, but there are other options available to you as well. And you just have to go with what works for you in the end of the day, because if it's not working for you, that's the best litmus test of whether or not you should continue using it or not. Now, good on you overall. I mean, your roster's not very varied. You got a lot of low stuff. I would start bringing a lot of these up, as I've been telling other people before, unless you really, really, really enjoy the Grand Arena more than anything else. I would say start bringing a lot of these tunes up to level 53 so that you have them ready to take even further in the long run. That way you can start enjoying more elements of the game. You can start being more useful in raids because you have more teams to field during the various phases. These are just ways to kind of improve yourself here in that regard. And I took the time a little bit before I started recording to take a look at your team. You're definitely on the right track with your mods. I would look at opportunities to maybe move away from some of these speed set mods because, I mean, all in all, you'll have to ask yourself in the long run, what are they doing for you? I mean, what they are doing for you, they got 104 speed, but 4 is enough to get yourself the set bonus. So you can put another 2 of these mods into another type of mod that might have better stats for you, either whether it be more speed or better offense, more potency, things that Revan uses. I mean, looking at things, you might find that your triangle might be a good candidate. 8 speed might be the best you got, maybe a better. Looking here, I definitely would keep this one where it's at 21 speed. That's an impressive mod. You did a good job there. This may be a good candidate here. 13 speed on a speed processor. You might be able to get better than that with other classes of mods. If you do, maybe that's where you want to get. Ooh, this one's a very strong candidate for being replaced. Square mods are easy to get. These transmitters in general are pretty easy to get, and a lot of them have a lot more speed than that. That might be a top candidate for maybe going the direction of a health mod. Maybe this as well. You could add health, you can add potency, whatever makes the most sense to you. You can add critical chance if you like. Those are all 2 set bonus mods, as is tenacity. Those are some options for you. And 30 speeds standard across the board for arrow mods. So it's really just a question for you, where are you going to get the best bang for your buck based on the mods you do have in your inventory. Now, I can look at your roster, but I can't look at your inventory and tell things for you there. But there may be opportunities to make that Jedi Knight Revan a bit stronger. And the fact that you've got him up to 252 speed, very good start. Much closer than some of the roster reviews I've done to that where you're going to want him to be to take him in the top end. Little work, and I think you're going to be there. And the first thing I would do is look at those mods that aren't, especially the arrow mods, just aren't giving you a lot of extra speed, and maybe replacing that with something to get you a little better. Now, looking at your Bastila here, we were taking a look at her. A little slower, not drastically slow. Decent potency I was seeing last I checked. Not huge. I would say maybe room for some growth in a lot of areas here, but then again, she's not gear 12, so maybe that's a factor as well. It's really tough to say at this point. I would keep working her, try to get these mods, see if you can get her a little faster, maybe a little more potent. Those tend to be the things where she's most useful, speed and potency. She's not the heaviest hitter of the bunch. That comes to the next person we're going to talk about, your Grandmaster Yoda. Grandmaster Yoda, saw how you're working it here. You have a decent amount of speed on it, which can be good or bad. Midline offense, I would say. I would look for any opportunity to keep boosting out your offense where possible. Here you got 81 offense, not horrible, but you can also put offense as the primary stat on a cross. So you might want to look for something like that. Here you got protection. That's not doing much for you at all other than making you go fast. It doesn't have any offense. This would be the first thing I would replace. And you don't even have the full offense set bonus, so it's really not doing anything for you it wouldn't have otherwise. Big thing for Grandmaster Yoda, because he has his Ataru ability, he'll get a lot of turns anyway. I mean, this one brings up his turn meter. This brings up his turn meter to, basically 100%. And this one also brings up his turn meter. He'll go often. Speed is not the number one priority on him. You want to get offense most definitely. Plus offense on your secondaries is a big source of that. And I would also look into options to, I would look at crit hit, crit damage sets as well. Because when you're not facing against teams that have a lot of crit immunity, that crit damage, you'll want somewhere in the vicinity of 222%. When you're finally faced against those top end Darth Revan teams, and you're trying to come in and take out their Darth Revan, it makes a huge difference if you can't take him out in one shot when he's got 60% of his health. Because with his Zeta, he'll just pop back and steal the health from one of his teammates, and you'll have to keep hitting him again. And if he gets a turn, he'll cast horror on your leader and basically just completely upend the battle. So these are just things to consider. I would try to make him hit as hard as possible. Bring up your plus offense. Bring up your crit chance, crit damage, every chance you get. Keep working that and see if that gets a little better. I noticed you went all health mods on Jolie. That's a good start. You definitely want to do that. But look through them individually as well and see what they're buying you. This one here gets you protection. It does make him tanky, but there are other stats that can be equally valuable in making him tanky. You can get plus tenacity. You can get, I think you can get plus health on that type of mod. It's slipping my mind at the moment. Crit damage, I would replace that in a second. You can get health on that mod. And, I mean, you got decent health secondary, so you might not want to do that right away because you're trying to make Jolie beefy, and you want to make him decently fast too because he has a lot of call to assist abilities. And really, to make a Jedi Knight Revan team work like clockwork, it's just having characters go quickly and calling Grandmaster Yoda to assist over and over and over again. Yoda will be just basically insane looking when you do a Jedi Knight Revan team well, and that's why it stayed meta for so long. All in all, your stats are growing. You're getting beefy. You're getting tanky. You definitely could improve upon that. I mean, I would shoot for, when you get that gear 12 plus range, I would shoot for around the 50,000 plus health range and try to get your speed up somewhere in the vicinity of plus 100 extra. If you can get it. I mean, go with the mods you got and just keep working towards them. It's a grind. It's one of those things, but it pays off in the long run. Looking at your Kenobi, very tanky. You got a lot of defense mods there. I would consider replacing this with a defense mod as well. You can add some speed, though, too. It actually helps to make General Kenobi relatively fast. Here you only got plus 17 speed. I would look at getting some speed added into your secondaries as well. Being tanky is nice, but if you do, you also got to make them very tenacious, which you haven't, because his taunts only going to go up if you're not buff blocked or something else. And most meta teams have some sort of capability in that regard these days, so you want to be aware of that. And plus, you want to be able to cast off his abilities more often. That Negotiator puts up counter on all your Revan team. That can make a one player very miserable if they decide to pop an AoE on your team. Lead the charge, same thing. If you're doing a mirror match and you're up against their Julie Bindo, having that lead the charge mass assist come in can be the thing to put him down, where otherwise he tends to counterattack and get a lot of his health back, especially if he's very beefy. So there's things to consider. You've done a good job. I mean, I don't know if you've been paying attention to my other videos or just working towards it on your own in general, but you're definitely on the right track mod-wise. You just got room for growth, and I got room for growth too. I want my Jedi Knight Revan to be faster. He's at 303 right now, speed overall. I want him to be faster. Just haven't gotten the mods yet, so I mean, we're all in that situation together. It's just working from where you're at to get where you want to be. Inventory for ships here. Good start of one. You leveled the Ebon Hawk. I would go ahead and level the Houndstooth too. One thing I noticed between both your inventories, is you haven't done much with your Bosk. Big missed opportunity there. Build up your Bosk, level 85, earliest opportunity, because he makes bounty hunters of all varieties work. There's just no way to overstate that. I'm sorry. Keep farming his shard, which is, let me refresh my memory here, which is not an update notification, but and my memory seems to be failing me right now, but that happens often during a video when you're trying to do a lot of things at once. You're trying to remember something that's at the tip of your tongue. But yeah, you are looking to find him on 9B. So you're on the dark side. Now that you have Jedi Revan, getting through your dark side stuff shouldn't be too difficult if you haven't already. And keep farming that up. I would make that one of your larger priorities for the near future as far as shard farming is concerned. Say that 3 times fast. That's one thing you'll want to focus there. Getting that in your Houndstooth. And the Houndstooth I definitely remember because it's not dark side. Or that wasn't your dark side. Okay. Now I'm going see. I was on Jango Fett's. I knew that. It's on Jango Fett's node. So very good node to farm. I would make these 2 nodes farming priorities for you every day. I would try to get all 5 battles every day for the foreseeable future. Use crystal refreshes to get there if you need to. Because as you start climbing an arena further, you'll have more crystals available to do your energy refreshes. I definitely recommend that. And work on your bounty hunters in general. Bounty hunters as a team are valuable in a lot of different contexts. I cannot overstate the importance of bounty hunters. You'll get further in the dark side territory battles because there's actually 2 nodes that require bounty hunters, and bounty hunters are a very good team, and Bosk is the linchpin that makes that work. So work on your bounty hunters. That would be a shard priority I would put for you, and a Garen priority to the extent you can't do your arena squad. Your arena squad can still use some work to get over that gear 12, maybe even gear 12 plus threshold that I'm sure you're working towards. Your Houndstooth in Ship's Arena, it's important, cannot be overstated when you don't have Falcon on your team. And it looks like you have a 4-star pretty well decked out Ebon Hawk too, so you get that reinforcement ability up, and you could probably take down Millennium Falcon teams without actually having the Millennium Falcon. It's going to take some playing around with, and since you're in the high sides of the 100s, you're probably not seeing a lot of those teams yet, but keep working on those. Keep working your Slave 1, your Xanadu Blood, and your Egg 2000, which, do I see it? Am I overlooking it? No, I'm not. Yeah, work your Egg 2000 to get those ships up. Getting the Millennium Falcon will set you up for success in the future, I promise you. Keep working on your Home 1. Get that up to level 85. Try to get 6 and even 7 stars on all these capital ships because that gives hangar bays. And that gives you opportunities to work in a lot of different directions. I mean, your ships in general, I can tell you haven't focused a lot of time on it yet. Maybe it's just being newer to the game. Maybe it's a lot of things. You got a lot of shard farming to do. And what's that buy you? Why work ships? Well, I'll show you right now if you hadn't seen my other videos. When I get to the top of my arena, I wind up in one of 2 places. First or second. And that just depends on what day it is. Odds days I'm first, and even days I'm second because I have someone I share it with and we respect each other. But that's 1,800 ship Fleet Arena Store credits. That is all but 200 of a Zeta material. So pretty much, with maybe exception of one day every so often, you're getting a Zeta ability every single day just by playing your ship arena to its maximum potential. Keep working those. It'll bring you value in your territory battles. It'll bring you value in your grand arena. It'll give you opportunities to do events. There are events periodically that you get to use your ships for and collect more materials for either your modding or um, other stats. So these are all opportunities to succeed. It's just going to be a matter of working those directions. And one cautionary thing I give pretty much everyone I talk to in these videos, try not to oversaturate yourself with to-do lists. Figure out what your focus area is, set some milestones, whether it be gear 10, level 85, or gear 12, X number of Zetas, and keep working those directions, because that's the type of stuff that will get you there. Patience, perseverance, keep working on upping that squad arena store. I've made some mod recommendations. I think if you can accomplish them, will help you get there. It's just a matter of keeping the grind on. I mean, that's half the fun of this game. And even when you get to the point where you're nearing the 5 million galactic power and you got gold and Zetas and all level 85 all over the place here, you'll still have room for improvement, I promise you. But I would say, like I said, unless you really want to keep your galactic power low just for Grand Arena purposes, start bringing up a lot of these tunes here. A lot of these tunes that you got level 1s attached to are actually pretty useful at the high end of the game. Droidica will be, I think I see a future with Droidica. L337, most underrated droid in the game right now, by my opinion. And Fee's Nest, huge utility in many respects. Captain Rex, best Zetaless leader in the game right now. Best plug and play leader in the game right now. Not the best leader in the game on all teams. Obviously, Jedi Revan and Darth Revan are better in their squads, but Rex, due to Rex's utility plug and play, you can put a lot of things under Rex, and that team can be very good if you don't have other things that it's specifically assigned to. Very useful for your Territory Wars Grand Arena. A lot of these tunes here that you got in the mid-range, you may want to work on to some extent. Newer players, maybe not as interested as old players, old farts like me who've been around forever and had full teams of separatists that were never really good until they're starting to get good now, but really became applicable in the Padme event, for instance. Keep working those things. Keep just gearing up as you go along here. Don't spread rare gear on tunes that you don't use, but then again, if you got 2,000 or something piled up, keep plugging away and building these characters up too. Gives you a lot more flexibility when you need it. And I will say this, you're going to run to the point eventually where you're going to need it. So I'd start working tunes that you know are going to be useful. Bounty Hunters come to mind, as do Night Sisters right off the top of my head. Any of those, your range trooper will find utility when you build up a good trooper squad. First Order, same thing. You'll want to keep building up those tunes, because the more you grow your roster, the more diversity and strength you need to have on more teams if you really want to be successful. So again, you've done a very good job focusing overall. No complaints here that you're making poor decisions or anything like that. I think you're making some very good decisions with what you do with your roster. You just got room to grow. Nothing wrong with that. Everyone was there once upon a time, and they had their own issues. And like I said previously, sometimes you make decisions that are bad investments. I would say $100 on a Kylo Ren that went free to play and wasn't good for a whole nother year was a very bad investment on my part. But that back then I didn't know what I was doing, so and I didn't really have anybody who I could ask for these types of things. So you live and learn, I guess. But overall, I would say a very good job building up your roster so far. I look forward to seeing where you grow with it in the future, how you perform in your various arenas in the future, and uh, how this helps, if it helps you in getting there, because that's the goal of these, is to make you stronger, make you better, make you enjoy this game more. If I can help you do that, that's a win, huge win for me. So thank you for letting me review your roster today, and until next time, this is Anno Star Saber. We'll see you later.